Welcome to the Mystery Channel, where the veil is thin and the echoes of ancient knowledge speak through myth, magic, and the turning of the cards.
And there is a place on the window ledge with sort of lots of lovely ornaments, and I usually sort of set up by there. At the moment, there is a very large spider who lives there, and I'm not allowed to move her because she's overwintering.
Yeah.
My son keeps all the spiders in the house have names.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
I love that. That is very awesome.
It's funny. You get less worried about them once they have names, and you start seeing, and they do kind of have different personalities. I never knew this before. They do. They have different likes and dislikes, and some of them are very curious. And I suppose the reason that people don't know all of this about spiders is that usually our interactions are limited to a screaming and running away. And you're not going to learn very much about somebody like that, are you? So.
Boo. That's true though, because like everyone has the spiders as spirit animals, the spirituality of it, what they mean. They're always in myths and legends, but then yet when we face them in real life, like you said, run and scream or stomp.
But hey, the gods are scary.
Yeah, that's true.
There was one spider, just ordinary house spider, that got fed on mashed potatoes because I think this is something that literally nobody has ever seen before. But I like mashed potato to eat.
I love that. That is awesome.
You get lots of carbohydrate from it, and it makes them very big and strong. But so I can't use that window ledge as a backdrop at the moment unless people want to see a really large spider which has made this great sheet web over all the interesting things that I thought I'd like to look at on the window ledge, but the spider's made it. It's made a sort of a canopy over them.
Yeah.
And I can see her now. She's sitting there chilling out.
I love it.
But not knowing how everyone else feels about them, we'll have a viewpoint without spiders.
Yeah. Let them just join. So thank you very much, Anastasia, that you want to be part of this. So
yeah.
Really
And I've seen some of the past episodes, and listened to talking to Rhonda George earlier.
Yes.
Amazing to hear her stories.
Yeah. But I'm pretty much sure you will.
Of course, with that Andrea is
all interesting people.
Always puts on a fantastic show wherever, whenever. So. I feel like the bar has been set a bit high now.
I think it's gonna be amazing. You do so much amazing work too. Your illustrations are just so gorgeous. I actually was pulling up the book. But I actually have to.
Yes, the Magic Lantern. Yes, you've got a Baba Yaga book coming to you. Because of the way the post works or doesn't work, it might not get to you until the new year. But it'll be something to start a new year with. So I haven't done anything like this before. I mean, you could probably tell from the way I immediately messed up the Zoom thing. And I have actually used Zoom before. It just decided it was not playing with me. Thank you, Mercury.
Yeah.
He likes to have his little joke, doesn't he?
Yes.
The god of communications and.
Oh yes, yeah. That's
obviously I didn't make the appropriate sacrifices.
Yes. I know, right? The preparation beforehand.
Yes.
Anastasia, can you tell us a bit who is Anastasia?
Oh wow! So start with a simple question first. Well, I'm an artist, and I sort of incurable condition. Always have this compulsion to make pictures, and to tell stories, through pictures. That's I think my earliest memory was trying to make a sort of, it was a comic strip about some blue rabbits, and I must have been about 3 or 4, and I had blue crayon, and I don't think I I'm trying to remember whether I knew how to write yet, because I was doing the little speech boxes, but sort of abstract squiggles in those. So I sort of feel like I wanted to do this even before I really had all the tools or could read and write.
It's meant to be.
And it's always been like that. Yeah.
Inspired.
Telling the tales as you can tell. I feel like there are no new tales, really. You come to feel that there are no truly new tales. There is nothing new under the sun, but there are still so many ways of telling the old ones that I feel it's very unlikely we're going to run out in the next few thousand years. So, so that's what I'm doing, taking the old tales and turning them on their heads and digging around inside them and putting them next to each other and seeing what sort of clicks. That's if I had to summarize what I do, that's really it. And I suppose that's where the tarot comes in, because tarot and the other formal oracles that have a formal structure, it's like a kind of Ulipo, that sort of literary game where you pick an arbitrary limitation and write something within it. Like you can exclude certain letters from your typewriter, or have everything rhyme in a certain way, or that's just the rules of poetry. When you come right down to it, you have a formal structure that you use as a sort of lens, looking at whatever it is you want to look at. And so you can tell the tarot story, for example, from any number of perspectives. And the first of all tarot deck that I made was called Dinosaurs de Marseille.
Yes.
And so I took the classic Tarot de Marseille, the sort of 16th century deck with its woodcut illustrations, and I turned them all into dinosaurs. I was perfectly sure that the 16th century illustrators would have put dinosaurs into a deck if they'd known about them. They loved their monsters. I am absolutely certain that they would have made a dinosaur deck if anyone had really realised what dinosaurs were then. And while I was making it, you start to see how putting all the characters and situations into dinosaur form, giving them dinosaur faces, they remain themselves, but it does highlight and illuminate certain questions that are new to me. It's like a continued inquiry, and the dinosaurs, or whatever you have decided the theme of your deck is going to be, are helping to illuminate that. So you start thinking, so what's the idea of justice from the perspective of primitive reptiles, or the devil? I just finished writing a chapter about the devil for the guidebook, which is coming, and I've been promising people for years that it's coming, but it is coming. So do animals have a concept of evil in general? Can animals be evil? And you think about the trials in the Middle Ages when officially animals did not have souls, of course, in the European Middle Ages. The Christian Church did not allow that animals had souls. And yet, the state felt that they could be tried for crimes like murder. A number of pigs were tried for murder. There was a donkey who got off a charge of bestiality on the grounds that her previous good character suggested that she hadn't been a consenting participant, and so she was released without a stain on the character. There was I think it was in Reims, they took out action against beetles in general for their suspicious and secretive habit of creeping within the earth. They were obviously up to some sort of awful, seditious plotting.
Yes.
And that was just wonderful. They took the weevils weevils that used to attack the vines to court, and the weevils won.
Oh my gosh.
The weevils had their own lawyer, and it was eventually agreed that the weevils should be provided with suitable land for them to live and get on with their weevil stuff, and that in return they should leave the vines alone. And there was a bit of negotiation went on, and I think the first plot of land proposed was judged to be insulting. Yeah. But I mean, in the end, the weevils got their land, and the case was closed. And it must have worked, because it's a very famous vine growing district. And I haven't heard that they had a lot of trouble with the weevils since. So
everything clear.
One should always try a negotiation, but that's coming into the idea of what do these abstract concepts mean if you take out of this context of us as humans. Is there a general idea of evil? Can you have a general idea of justice? What is love to a lizard?
Yeah,
and I think it's an interesting exercise. So you have to, because of course you also have to start with what did love, justice, and evil mean to a Renaissance human. Europe in the 15th or 16th century, which again is not what we might think of today. So it really is a way of looking at the cards without being limited to a perspective of here and now and taking ideas for granted.
Yes.
Which we do. We look at something and we see, that goes in the box of things that mean that I have collected over my lifetime. But the cards are things that have been collected over many, many lifetimes and still have things to tell. So,
yes.
And did you get answers from your deck? Did you get answers? A
lot of answers.
In regards of the idea of justice.
I'm writing it down as fast as I can, because I have had a lot of answers. I know somebody who, this is more about sort of testing it in the field, as it were. And I heard from somebody who had never liked the High Priestess card, because I think there was some mother issues in the background and just really did not like the authority of the High Priestess card. But when she became a Brontosaurus, then they found her a lot easier to listen to, saying probably many of the same things that the High Priestess card always says to people, but coming out of the mouth of a Brontosaurus, it seemed less threatening. That's an ancestor that's far enough away. For us not to have negative connotation for her. And I thought that was very interesting, because I've heard from other people about the dinosaur deck and how that sort of distance in geological time, but also that sort of closeness in the fact that a lot of us were into dinosaurs when we were kids. It's something we associate with our childhood, something very comforting and secure, that had helped a number of people with cards and concepts that they found difficult in the standard deck. And I thought that was very interesting too, because they're not changing the themes. It's not watering anything down. It's not making it fluffier or more cozy in that sort of way, but it's allowing us to take a step out of our own negative experiences and address these sorts of questions in a context that feels secure.
Yeah.
So that was another thing.
Yeah. I can see that. Changing the symbols.
Sort of talking about how, theme decks, it's not just, for me, it's not just a gimmick. It's taking something and looking at it from a different viewpoint, and you start to see a lot of things that you haven't seen before, because we all bring our preconceptions with us to everything that we do and everything that we see. and sometimes it's very helpful to translate something into an unfamiliar, or perhaps a familiar in a different sense sort of context.
Makes me think about Plato's cave.
Because we are not resisting. We're not then resisting the new information.
Yeah.
We don't have that little figure in our head that says, "Oh, I know all this already," because that little person has then like sort of switched off your listening capabilities.
Oh yeah, definitely. I like that too with the dinosaurs, because just like thinking of it now, you're saying that because we didn't really know the language, kind of. So it makes it makes the dinosaurs feel more intuitive, like they're literally beaming it into you, their messages. I like that. That would make it more subtle, softer to get the messages of the cards. I like that.
They are all solidly based on the old deck, but it's just helping us to get to know them in that way, I think. And there was something else there. I think it's gone now, actually.
Oh no.
It flew past like a gliding pterodactyl, and went straight out of the window. It'll probably come back to me later. It was
after the interview.
Yeah, that always happens to me.
Well, then it's not meant to be.
Yeah, or a good follow-up.
Maybe the world was not ready for this information yet.
Yeah, or I might fall off my chair.
Yeah.
Yes, the time is not now. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, and you pulled somehow the same stunt with a Petit Lenormand deck, isn't it?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
That one was.
Sorry. I didn't hear what you said.
You also pulled the same great creative stunt with a Petit Lenormand deck, I saw.
The Baba Yaga.
I like Baba Yaga as well.
And Baba Yaga. Well, I have Lenormand coming out with Schiffer Red Feather next year. I think it comes out in April in the US. And I think, do not quote me on this, because I've known these things to slide a little in the past, that it will be in June to July in the UK and Europe.
Oh.
And that is yes, it's based on the medieval marginalia you find in the margins of texts from monastic scriptoria of Europe, and I think a lot of people have already seen these because they make great memes for the internet and for social media. The concrete, rude thoughts of the monks who were writing out the holy word.
Yeah.
And, there is some debate as to, I mean, were they just bored? Were they trying to annoy the abbot or whoever? Or was there some meaning to this? And I think that there probably was some meaning. Somebody whose name escapes me a minute, but somebody wrote a little paper on this. But a lot of the people doing extremely rude things in the margins of at least one or two of the manuscripts that we have. When you read the text that is beside them, it is not in fact unrelated. You can see that there are puns, sort of sounds like, or a little sort of joke on something in the text, something about ears, and the monk has taken that to some kind of extreme in the margin, but that it also they helped people to memorize the text itself and to find their place in the text. You could just look in the margin and say, "Oh yes, it's the bit where the dragon sticks his tail in his ear," or the worst things. I know where we are. Start from there. That it was actually had an educational quality, that it just sort of helped people get through this really thick, dense text. And if you look at how black letter text is written in the Gothic manuscripts, and it's can be quite difficult to tell the individual words apart, let alone scan a page to see where you are. So the little jokes in the margins might have been helpful for that. But also, I really interested in the idea that it was a way of saying things in a very strictly policed world that you couldn't necessarily say out loud. How do you say things that you can't say out loud?
Yes.
And if you know the name of the writer, Francois Rabelais, who was 16th century, he was a monk at one point, French writer, and he was forever getting quite close with the Inquisition, and he used to disguise anything controversial that he wanted to say by having a drunkard or a lunatic say the words in the text. And if the Inquisition hauled you up and said, "What is all this?" he would say, "Well, obviously only a drunkard or a lunatic would say such a thing, sir." It's right there in the script, and thus he did not get burned. So I think you see that a lot in the work of the time and in the work of slightly later artists like Bruegel and Dürer. You see things which are coded, and they are funny and sometimes rude or obscene. There's nothing to make the keep the pearl clutchers from knowing what you're talking about and giving them a good old shock. We want them to look away. And so it was that less acceptable and more sort of revolutionary ideas about philosophy and religion and the way the world works were carried about on the backs of, well, in the case of Rabelais, the most incredible number of fart jokes, actually. I think he does hold the all-time record for most fart jokes in a work of serious literature. So, so I got really fascinated with the idea of the stories that you could tell, and also the parallel with, I suppose, with how life is today and how it always has been. If you think about it, because there have always been things that we cannot publicly say. There have always been limits on our speech, and the artists and the artisans and the printers and the writers and the illuminators. We've always had to think of ways of telling people the things that you can't lawfully tell them, and carrying that story on. And so I think that the marginal Lenormand is actually quite, for me, it was quite an important thing to do at the moment, because in a lot of places we are losing what we temporarily felt was our natural freedom of speech. And people are being very much monitored. We don't even know who we're being monitored by half the time. We're monitored by machines that go through what we say and write online, and decide whether or not it's acceptable, or whether you're allowed to go to the United States or remain on Facebook or whatever. It's something which is, we can look at the medieval monks dressing up sort of wicked and devious characters like Reynard the Fox as bishops and kings, and showing them doing all kinds of awful things in the Middle Ages, and we were laughing at them, but things aren't any different for us. And so we still need this other language.
Oh yes, definitely. It is.
Normand was a really lovely way to do that, because of course all the stories and the literature and the imagery of that earlier time fit very well with the characters and symbols of the Lenormand. They're all there, and that was, I think I've just remembered the point I wanted to make earlier, is It was about what every schoolboy knows. You see, for the people at the time the Lenormand was first made, there were a lot of things that everybody just knew about. I don't know, about the symbology of rings or the fox or the tree. But in a lot of cases, we actually don't know that now because everyone knew that then. It was so commonly known that nobody thought it important to write it down. And so it has been lost over the years. There are things that would have just struck people as just plain obvious 200 or 300 years ago that we have no idea about now because things in our lives, in the way we live our lives, have changed, and we no longer go to the well to get the water to do our washing or whatever, and something has gone and a connection has gone, and because it was so commonly known, nobody thought to record it. So that's it. It's something which is, I think more historians should think about than they do. So, of course, what we know about the past is what was recorded. Often what was really important was not recorded at all for that very reason. Everybody knows. I mean, I'll give an example. The Mary Lloyd figure in Wales who comes out just after Christmas, the horse's skull, and dances around, going to people's houses and demanding to be let in so she can drink their beer. And it's an old ritual, and it's a lot of fun. And the only reason that we know anything about the older performances and the older texts is that Methodist ministers in Wales, and Methodism was very big in Wales in the 18th century, hated it so much that they wrote down all their quapuncos, this sort of back and forth song battle between the Mary Lloyd and the people who don't want to let her into their house to drink their beer, and you have to do a song battle with her, and there are standard texts or forms of text that are used, and as I said, the only reason that we know about a lot of this stuff is that people who hated it wanted to go into great detail about exactly what they hated. My friend Radoslav, who runs the Slavic Mythology Museum in Poland, said a similar thing about learning about the pre-Christian Slavic pagan beliefs, is that the people trying to convert everyone to Christianity went into a lot of detail about what it was that they were trying to exterminate and eliminate, and thus and that's actually how a lot of these things have been preserved for us, because when it was a part of people's natural existence, nobody bothered to write it down.
No.
So that's another theme. Another theme is with the marginal Lenormand as well, is going back to try and dig up and get in touch with what we all knew then but have forgotten in the interim, because that is how the cards were formed. And they can't mean the same to us now as they did then, and we think differently about a lot of things. We have a lot of different associations with the images, but I think that it's important to try and find out the forgotten things and to bring that knowledge sort of back into our lives now. That will also be happening with I started a Baba Yaga Lenormand, which will not be completed until probably the end of next year, because I'm working on too many things at once at the moment. I just wanted to get the idea sort of out there and fixed in my own head to see how it would work. And again, that's going to be quite a similar thing, only looking more towards Eastern Europe, where other small oracles have actually been more popular than tarot. Just looking at the original ideas that fed into the little icons that we know today in the Lenormand, the Sibilla, the of course, and even the tarot. Going back to see that the ideas and images that strike us as very exotic and esoteric now, actually a lot of them weren't exotic or particularly esoteric to the people of that time, to the people who used tarot to play card games with. It was just stuff they just knew.
Yeah.
You knew about the allegory of prudence and justice and what colour the devil's kneecaps were and things, because it was church. You saw it in church, and you heard about it in stories and folk songs and stuff that illuminated your everyday life. It was about as esoteric to them as listening to the Archers. I don't think anyone's done an Archers based. That's a very British thing. Sorry, that's a very UK thing. The Archers. It's a soap opera that's been on radio since forever. I mean, really, since the 1950s, and people listen to it every day. It's supposed to be about the everyday lives of people in a rural district of Britain. I mean, it's a rural district that doesn't actually exist, and everyone sort of sounds a little bit like pirates, but we overlook that. It's a tradition, but the point is that it's something traditional and nonsensical and actually quite odd to an outsider, but that in a certain context you hear it every day and you don't think of it as being anything out of the ordinary or mystical at all. And half of the cards in the tarot deck weren't particularly mystical or scary. I mean, some of them are meant to be scary. You are meant to be frightened of the devil because doing bad things like, I don't know, sort of not paying your tithes to the church or working on your Lord's fields for nothing could end up with you going to hell, which is not a good place, okay? But a lot of it was just stuff that was more part of people's lives. So that's something to remember as well, because we can get very, very precious about these things. It's very sacred, and you must sacrifice a small chicken every time you take your tarot deck out. Or was that just my family? I don't know.
Oh yeah.
No chickens. So
no, but that's so true though. When people get a new deck, yes, it's like the unveiling.
Yes.
Yes.
No, I remember being told the thing about it, like the tarot deck should be first tarot deck should be gifted or stolen. And that's a tradition. No, I cannot tell you where that comes from because
not true. Yeah, not true.
Of course it's not. It is not true. But I think when I got my first, my mum gave me my first tarot deck, and
that's great.
And that was a pull motto, Primo Marseille.
In
the red box.
What year was this?
And she had a Swiss 1JJ that I really liked, so I stole it.
Keeping with the tradition, I love it.
So this is
can you tell us? Can you tell us when
I went back to the Marseille because those earlier images do have a punch to them.
Yes,
they connect back to something a bit less frilly.
Do you still have those decks? I love it.
No, I think I actually bought myself a 1JJ later because I think my mum did take it back.
Oh no.
Yeah. Parents can be so selfish.
Yeah. So true. I agree.
It's very dinosaur-like.
She's going to be. Okay.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I feel like
I've talked a lot and gone into all kinds of directions.
No, but I love Nope. Yeah, but
What would you like to ask me about?
We already.
Do you want to ask me about the Sibilla?
Oh yeah, actually, I was going to say, because I got it out again to reread it, and I loved. First of all the pictures are amazing. And the intro, because it's what you were saying with like the gods and stuff, because the intro and how you portray the pictures is like, don't just pick this up lightly. Be prepared for what it's going to say. Be prepared for what the pictures are going to tell you. And it's like working with Lilith or Tyr. Like, don't enter that unless you're willing to like be like, you're going to be taken for the ride. You're going to be drawn into it no matter what, like the Black Moon Lilith in your astrology chart too. And I love that, because even with the images, after reading that and then looking at your images, it's like you are going to be dealing with things. You are going to be forced to look.
Oh yeah. The voice of that deck is not unkind, but it knows what you did when you did it, and it wishes you would remember to bring your handkerchief with you.
Yes. It's like people want to know like what's going on and where, and this deck is going to exactly tell you.
Oh yeah.
Ready or not.
Well, I'll say that I had some experiences working on that deck that I can only say some actual direct channeling happened, because there were some coincidences, like the Scholar card. I decided just out of the blue I wanted to use Alexandre Dumas as the model for the Scholar card. And I suppose that it, in some ways that might be because it's quite hard to add some diversity to a 19th century European deck. But also he just like popped into my head that it should be him. There he is. Yeah. And I did not know until we were nearly complete on the deck that, we set it in 19th century Italy, and we set it around the time of the Risorgimento, about 1861.
Yeah.
Some of the cards are looking a little before that and some a little later, but it's around that time is the theme of the whole thing. And in 1861, Alexandre Dumas was living in Rome and editing a reunification newspaper, and I did not know that. He wanted to be in that deck because he belongs there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So that was like, wow, I didn't know that. I just thought he would be someone good to have in the deck, but actually he really, really fits there.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love that.
And the other one is, can you find the Madman card there?
Yes. Oh yeah, of course. Yes. I was just pulling cards earlier with this. Oh yeah.
Yes. Now, if you look at the guy in the middle, and I did not see this until it came to the final edits just before it went to press, and it suddenly occurred to me, oh my God, he's Edgar Allan Poe.
Oh my God. A little
closer.
Yes. Oh, I love that. And
he is, and then I wondered, well, why is he here?
Oh yeah, I love that.
And I found out that there was a little group of Italian painters musicians, mostly painters and other artists, and they called themselves, I'm trying to think of the word, but I'm going to get it wrong in Italian, but it kind of translates as the ragamuffins.
Oh yes,
There were sort of this bunch of wild lads, and they had this idea that art should be kind of wild, and all artists should drink and take drugs, and really, really go for it. And the truest artist is the one who is, the most out of it. And one of them is actually in one of the other cards, and I temporarily can't remember his name now, but he was a painter in that group, and he's actually in the card where he's Great Constellation, and he's sitting in the middle of his exhibition, dreaming all the paintings that are surrounding him. And he is one of that group. But this little group, they absolutely worshipped Edgar Allan Poe. They thought he was the greatest artist in the world ever. He was their hero, and there have been monographs written about the effect that's him. And there he is dreaming about meeting Edgar Allan Poe, who is dead by then. But they thought that he was the bee's knees and the cat's pajamas all rolled into one. As I was saying, monographs have been written on the effect that Edgar Allan Poe had on 19th century Italian art and literature post 1861, because he was like their god. So there he is, like in spirit, at any rate, sort of wandering around the borders of this of this new Italy with rapscallions and crazy chaps on his heels. And he just put himself there. I mean, he wasn't meant to be Edgar Allan Poe.
Oh my gosh.
It just became him. I don't know. And this happened quite a lot during making that deck, is that ideas and people and images would just sort of get into there, and I'd only find out why they were there later. So that was quite interesting.
I love that, because Edgar Allan Poe has always been a favorite of mine, to the point that like I did his whole childhood tour, went and saw his house, his graveyard. So that gives a new level to these cards that I love.
He's there for you. He's there for you.
Yeah.
When you're feeling like going a little crazy, you can always rely on Edgar.
Oh yes.
And there he is. But I didn't know that he was that important to Italy, and he was much more respected in Italy than in America or
anywhere. No, it's true, because I think when I went and did his whole house tour, I was like the only one there, because
he wrote a great tale. He did write a great tale. Say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. The other thing that we always tell people is and now if you want to really, really get in sync with that deck and get a feel for it and see the characters walking around and follow their lives, Il Gattopardo, the leopard on Netflix. It is those cards.
Oh.
Il Gattopardo is those cards walking around having adventures.
Write that down.
Even I was really thrilled to see even the dog in that recent adaptation is the same as the dog in our deck.
Oh yeah, there, you found it.
Yeah. Now I did that before I'd seen the series. I think before it was filmed, and it is the same, and it is the exact same dog. He's a lovely Irish Wolfhound.
I love it.
But
oh my goodness!
But I couldn't have known that it was going to be the one in the new adaptation of the leopard, because in the book it's a Great Dane.
Oh yeah.
So it just feels like there was a sort of wavelength happening there. But,
yes.
But all the people in the deck are in the leopard. It's quite fun to watch it with a at hand.
Oh, I'm definitely going to now. I have Netflix.
Can you tell us something more?
I know. I keep trying to cancel Netflix, and then they make something that I really want to see. It's it's fiendish, actually, and yes, do something about that.
Oh yeah.
Some sort of witchcraft.
There you go.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the creative process together with Kathleen Matthews? Did you two sat together and talk about the concept, or how did it came about? How did it
come about? I think Kathleen had been working on a complete and really intensive course on the Italian Vera Sibilla for some years, and I think she started out working with another artist, and for whatever reason that never actually came about. And so a couple of years ago I just got a message from Kathleen saying, this is out of the blue and very short notice, but how would you like to work with me on a Vera Sibilla deck? And I thought to myself, this is going to be an enormous amount of work, and I'm probably going to regret it in a lot of ways, but not as much as I'm going to regret not doing it. So I said yes.
I love it.
Yes, there were times this is too much work over the time, because it was. But it was amazing, and working with Kathleen was it was great. I just had a year working with somebody who knows so much.
She's an authority.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, her knowledge.
Yes. So what we do is Kathleen sent me her descriptions of the cards, and we'd maybe talk a little about each card, and I would have questions, and then I would draw a pencil sketch and send it to her, and she could either approve or make suggestions for changes, and go back and finish it. There were things like the house, finding the right sort of house I changed it from the way the house looks in the classic Pure Sibilla deck, with the pillars on the portico, and I made it not exactly homely, but a little less sort of a distant feeling house. I wanted to, and wanted to have it somewhere where you could imagine spending a weekend there. You wouldn't be afraid to sit on the furniture. I mean, it would be very nice, but yeah. And my initial sketch included actually some figures from the other cards. And
And how long does it take to create one card?
House is a space to be.
Yeah.
There should be no figures in it because you are the figure in the card. And I got that and I redrew it as it is now. And it was wonderful to see how right she was, because I did sort of let family and close friends see what I was working on, although I wasn't posting it online. I post everything I do online because I like the interchange, and I like people to be able to see how things grow, but I didn't on this one. So for a whole year there was nothing posted publicly.
Oh wow.
But I did get feedback from family and friends, and it was so funny because everyone kept telling me where their room was in the house.
Oh my God, I love that.
What their favourite bit of the garden was, and they constructed this entire thing, like where everything was in the house and what the kitchen was like and what the attic rooms were like. And apparently there are greenhouses round the back there, and there's a herb garden and a sort of little forest walkway and things. I mean, I did not put in there, but apparently they are there because everyone was picking their rooms and their favourite place to be in the house, and half of it wasn't in the picture. And I thought, now that's magic. You see? That's magic.
Yeah, definitely.
Where's your room? Where's your room?
I know. I was just looking at always the attic. Okay, I love that. Yeah, always the attic.
You're sharing with a friend of mine now. I mean, I hope you don't mind.
No, yeah. I was always the attic.
And now I'm curious, Anastasia, how long on average does it take to create a card in the way you work, so that people can have an idea about what time spent behind your desk or your drawing table?
This is actually quite hard to describe, because the actual production of the card, the physical making of the card, that can take, depending on the level of detail, and these for the Sibilla were quite detailed, so they could take 3 or 4 days to finish. But the thinking about it and the putting together of the elements and the sort of crystallizing of the image and researching the references and generally just looking at stuff can take weeks and weeks. So I'll be thinking about another card whilst I'm making one, and it's really hard to put a number on the time that it actually takes to do each one, because you can have been working on it in a way for months by the time you get round to one card.
I can
You've thought a lot about it, you've looked at a lot of images, you've seen things and thought, I need to remember that for this card because this is something important.
So you need a mind picture.
The Sibilla, I looked at a lot of Victorian photographs and daguerreotypes and Magic Lantern slides. My son bought me a couple of Magic Lantern slides from that exact era, and they live in a cabinet.
Oh, nice!
Great.
The other room, and it was a story about witches, about this guy being pursued by witches, and it looks ever so much fun. I've only got two slides from it, but oh wow!
And what card was your worst nightmare?
Actually, it was ever so much fun to do the disaster card, because
disaster.
The big fire.
The one I just showed you.
Yeah. I had Jane Eyre in my head the entire time.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I thought when I was looking at
isn't it?
Yes. That and Sense and Sensibility.
So that has obviously come right through because I couldn't not think of it. It wasn't again. It wasn't deliberate, but there it is.
No, but that's like, when I saw the house. That was the first thing that came into my mind. I was like, "Oh, that's Jane Eyre." There's the misfortune one.
Yeah.
I was like, that was Jane Eyre.
You were not mistaken.
Yeah. That's
a different outlook.
Yeah. Yes. That's. Well, I was going to say too. This will.
So it's not sort of particularly.
Yeah.
Because I think it's one of the few that isn't sort of particularly sort of Italian context.
No.
Because the Berlin building is just a universal thing.
Oh yeah,
and we have to say that Charlotte Bronte really sort of set that whole idea in stone for all of us. She's always going to be the touch point, and we can do nothing about it. I bet if you asked someone in Italy who'd done any sort of literary study what they thought of when they thought of a burning building, and it would totally be Jane Eyre. So.
Oh my gosh, yes. And I know this is going to probably say like more about me than anything, but this was actually my favorite card in the deck.
Melancholy.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's probably going to say more about me.
That is so Victorian. It is so Victorian. It's and it looks kind of sentimental, but actually, I remember talking about this card with Kathleen when we were making the deck, and it is actually very sad because it's about the sort of sorrows, the sort of sadnesses that you can't talk about in public.
No, it's
the idea was, I think, in the original card that it's suggested, and again, this is a what every schoolboy knows sort of thing, because everyone would have known this then, is that this is like a miscarried and probably an unbaptized child, like miscarried or died at birth or whatever, and she's not supposed to mourn it publicly, because that was how they did things. Who did not talk about such things.
That's
that's really sort of like bitter and hard, and not so much sort of sentimental wallowing that we think of with melancholy, but something that you have to keep to yourself.
Yeah, that goes on.
Something you can't share, something you can't talk about, and the pain of that.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, that's something, because even like
a card that looks like it could be a bit sort of maudlin and chocolate boxy, but is actually about something which is a very harsh reality.
Does remind me about the symbolism about the swan. So, like in Dutch, we say it's this last song of the swan, because melancholy has like also a deep beauty in it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's interesting. Like I said, probably says something more about me.
The voice that's being kept inside, I suppose. Sometimes there's that idea.
Did you ever hear a swan die?
Huh?
Did you ever hear a swan die?
Well, that's just tragic.
I have not killed any swans.
It's like a melancholic song.
Oh,
that's just so sad too. It's like swans are so
been chased by a swan when I was about 5 years old, but
they can be dangerous.
They are, yeah. We have some beautiful swans down on the river. A couple, about a mile away. There's a beautiful bridge, and the river is quite wide there, and there are always swans down there. Don't want to get too close to them because they are best admired from a distance.
Yes, yes,
we know.
Yeah, I know. I love this. Diving into it more.
It will keep you occupied for a while. There's a lot in the book. There's a lot to get through, and I feel like I am still learning things about the cards, and I made them. So
no, yeah,
I look at them and say,
it's just like the symbolism, when you're seeing the card. Yeah.
Now I see what I was getting.
Yes,
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 yes. I think that works when you work with this sort of material, is that a lot of the time you don't know what you know, And a lot of the time it feels like there's a part of you that is doing the work that is actually a little outside your everyday conscious self. And it knows things. It knows things, and you have to trust it. That's a little bit about the process. But mostly, well, I get some paper and I go like this.
But it's interesting to hear it from your side.
Yes. Yes, it is. Right from the source.
Think about it to sort of break down what is my process.
Yes.
Yeah, it does work like that.
I love,
It might look like doing nothing at all because you're sort of building the picture and sourcing the elements. Like I said, I looked at a lot of Victorian photographs and just to get the sense of being there and how people stood and sat and looked and moved, and you start to see it, even though they're mostly in black and white, apart from the lantern slides. And that gives a lot of people the idea that the Victorians were very monochrome, and of course they were not. They were trying to invent colour photography, I promise you, but colour had, in some ways, really recently been invented. No, literally so. It was an age of huge technological change, and one of the big technological changes was the invention of aniline dyes, of synthetic dyes, which meant that poor people, or people who weren't enormously wealthy, could have as many bright colours as they wanted for the first time in history.
Wow.
Because bright colours had always been rare and expensive, and those who could afford them had them, and those who couldn't often ended up with them. What shade of brown do you want this? But you had access to really, truly eye-watering colours.
Yes.
Purples and pinks and yellows that really made you want to invent sunglasses pretty much immediately. Even a proper black became affordable to more people, because we think we see a lot of black in paintings. We see a lot of black in paintings before aniline dyes, because it was a way of quietly showing off how rich you were, that you could afford to dress all in black, because it took so much dye and so much labour to make something actually black rather than grey. But that walking around wearing nothing but black was a really good way of showing how bloody wealthy you were. You could afford not to display any colours, sort of peacock. So that was interesting too. But of course, aniline dye made black possible, and it made the whole funeral industry, which was so dear to every Victorian heart, possible. Because all the widows could afford to wear black clothing for years now. And the lavenders and things that they were allowed to change into after a certain amount of time, and so on and so forth. And all that black cloth was made possible by the discovery of the aniline dyes. But they also had those bright colours, and they had them everywhere. They had them in the wallpaper, and they had them in the curtains, and they had them in their clothes, and they had them in their carpets. And they had colour and pattern everywhere you could possibly put it. It must have made people's heads ache. But they were not sepia. They were not black and white. This was a very colourful time, and it was a time of great technological change. When you think that by the 1860s, it was possible to hear what was happening in, a war in, shall we say, Crimea, because, again, things have not changed at all in many ways between now and then, but the same day, because you had telepathy. It would have taken weeks, possibly more, to get even a generation earlier.
Oh, wow.
So we think that technology is moving very fast for us now, and particularly if you're my age and you're looking at younger people who have never not had a phone plugged into them. And you think, this has changed so very much from when I was a child. It's almost unrecognizable. I remember listening to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy on the radio. Through the black and the floorboards, because I was quite young then and I was supposed to be in bed. And hearing about the wonderful book, the book that is the Hitchhiker's Guide, and it's described as like this sort of plastic type sort of case in which is compacted huge amounts of text, and you just sort of manipulate the front of it to go to the page you want, and it's basically described a Kindle, and I've got one. I'm going to read. I'm going to read detective stories on it before I go to bed tonight. But when I heard that on the radio, it was an unimaginable object. It was literally science fiction. And today, these things exist. Except the flying cars. We don't have the flying cars. But the 1860s was very similar. I mean, people were just sort of terrified about these high-speed steam trains and steam locomotives and steam ships that crossed the sea without wind power. Everything. And you could hear news sent by code down the telegraph. So the same day, and it changed detective fiction, which I think hadn't really existed before then. Perhaps the telegraph did provoke detective fiction, because the idea that knowing something that's happening a long way away in a short space of time became very early a bit of a cliche, a literary cliche in the telling of stories, and particularly crime stories. How they caught Dr. Crippen, isn't it? They were able to telegraph ahead, something that a generation earlier would not have been possible. He'd have been long gone by the time any news, which would have gone on the next ship, you see.
That's
so you have a world which has just exploded. And everything is new and different, and your grandparents wouldn't know what was going on at all. And I thought how similar that world was, and that feeling of really rapid change and revolution and transformation in all areas of life. That in some ways is so very like today's world.
Very fast changing.
That sort of period of really fast development. So that's another reason for sort of choosing or maybe sticking with that particular era that the cards came out of, the middle of the 19th century. You can even see there are things to recognise and maybe lessons to be learned by going back to when this all happened before.
I think so. Even shows on your cover. New TV, still divination.
The TV. That's why we picked out the Magic Lantern, because that was the nearest thing. You could see images in colour from all around the world, just sort of blown up there. And we didn't have cinema or television or proper colour photography or anything then, but people were working on it, believe me. They were already working on it. They were already seeing what was possible.
It's just how today,
and you could have all the light and colour and the new and exciting just brought into your home. Lantern.
Yes, just like all the cards.
I thought it was a nice symbol for that deck.
Yes, no, it's just like the abundance of cards now that we're able to have. So definitely we'll put that on the podcast, so that everyone can see it.
Thank you very much for your time. Really.
Okay, I don't know how long we've been talking now.
We should round it up. we could be talking for much more hours, but
Yes, well, we could all be in the. I mean, it would be so lovely if we were all in the same room together and we were sitting in a Victorian library somewhere, and we had a bottle of port and the logs crackling on the fire and a pile of books.
Maybe
piles of books
just
beside
have to
us,
make
and we
it
could
happen.
talk into into the early hours.
Yes.
That would be so much fun.
Why
Would
don't we
love
just make that happen?
Yes,
We
would
can
love
make it
that.
happen.
Yes.
Hey, yeah, we should do that. We should
I
absolutely.
just have to transfer the kennel because I live in Flanders, so I just, I'm like an Ostend, and 1 hour later I'm like in Dover.
Oh, there we go. That would be fun. That would be awesome. I'm going
Thank
to be
you
a bit
very
more.
much.
So I better shut up now.
No, we definitely, like I said, we're talking about like next time, like, coming back on and stuff like that, because there's always more to talk about.
There's always the next time.
Fun.
We didn't even get on to talking about Baba Yaga very much, and now that is a subject.
Especially when I get your thing, then we have that we can definitely dive into it. So when I get
it, the book first, and
yes,
and then I might pop a couple of the new cards. I mean that is going to be an entire card deck, but so many people asked me for prints of the first 3 cards that I had them done as cards, and I think I've got as pair ones. So I can pop
you know what, Anastasia?
And we can talk about Baba Yaga next time.
Yeah, you just come back and you talk about Baba Yaga.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna get.
Yeah, she's an old friend. I can tell you all sorts of things about her.
But
she doesn't eat me first. But
if you talk about Baba Yaga, you need one episode about Baba Yaga because there's so many things to tell about.
Oh my gosh!
You cannot. I don't think it's even safe to attempt to cover her in like a sort of a 10-minute section or something. I think
Baba Yaga needs a whole episode.
Trouble.
Yeah.
Okay, so
exactly.
So I guess we're wrapping this up now.
Oh yeah.
We started again, you see. And yes, I would love to come back and talk about Baba Yaga. So when your materials arrive,
yes, I will let you know the minute I get it, and then I'm going to dive right in, and we'll make a plan.
Thank you very much. We will be in contact again. Thank you very much for this
thank you, Bjorn, and thank you, Morgan, and thank you
so nice to meet you. Of course. Oh my gosh, this was amazing. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye now.
Thanks.